Well, hello everyone and welcome to the Friday recap of the Bahrain Grand Prix. Now, before we go into the video, make sure you leave a like, comment and subscribe to this YouTube channel. Visit us at RaceWeekblog.com and follow us on Twitter, @RaceWeek_show. And it was an action-packed day at the Bahrain International Circuit, and now let's talk about it. Supposed to be starting off with free practice 1, and that's what I'm going to start off with. But free practice 1, it was in daytime conditions, which meant it wasn't that relevant really because the conditions are obviously completely different to what they are going to be on race day. But drivers were getting accustomed to the track. Unlike Turkey, the track was in prime condition when the drivers ventured out for the first time. The track, obviously it's a regularly used track, so that meant that when the drivers, as soon as the drivers ventured out, they had optimum grip. But because of the completely different temperatures to what we're going to see in tomorrow and the race, it wasn't as relevant. But it was Lewis Hamilton who topped the timesheets on a 1:29.033, ahead of Valtteri Bottas on a 1:29.482. Sergio Perez was third on a 1:30 dead. Then it was Carlos Sainz, then it was Pierre Gasly, then it was Max Verstappen who had a spin at the final corner. Then it was Alexander Albon, then it was Esteban Ocon, and then it was Lance Stroll, and then in 10th place was Daniel Ricciardo. Charles Leclerc had a spin at the first corner, but was 11th fastest, but poor pace from the Ferraris, ahead of Sebastian Vettel. Robert Kubica, who was deputising for Kimi Raikkonen in that session, was 13th, ahead of Romain Grosjean in 14th, Kevin Magnussen in 15th, and Antonio Giovinazzi in 16th. Danny Kvyat was in 17th, ahead of Lando Norris, Nicholas Latifi and Roy Nissany, who was deputising for George Russell. Has to be said, Nissany has not really done a bad job in the practice sessions that he's done. But that is the first practice session. Practice 2 was in the conditions that we are obviously going to see on Sunday in Racing, with the temperatures that we are expecting to see, with it being at night. So it was a much more relevant session. But it was a disrupted session which prevented teams from getting the mileage that they wanted to. Firstly, Alex Albon crashed heavily on the exit of the final corner, which I'll be talking more about later. And then secondly, we had a bit of a track invasion from a dog just after the red flag came in after Alex Albon's crash. We had an unwanted intruder in the form of a dog. Obviously that led to a lot of dog jokes. But that meant that the teams were not able, a lot of the drivers were not able to get the long runs that they wanted to do. But once again, it was Lewis Hamilton who topped the timesheets. He set a fairly late effort to go fastest on a 1:28.971, 3 tenths ahead of Max Verstappen, who is looking like that the Red Bull could be quite a bit quicker this weekend than in previous weekends, and that they could possibly challenge the Mercedes. Valtteri Bottas is currently in third, ahead of was third fast ahead of Sergio Perez in fourth, Daniel Ricciardo in fifth, and Pierre Gasly in sixth, showing good pace in the AlphaTauri. Lando Norris was seventh, ahead of Lance Stroll in eighth, Danny Kvyat in ninth for AlphaTauri, showing good pace in the AlphaTauri. The AlphaTauri in general having good weekends so far, with Alex Albon rounding out the top 10. In 11th, he had Esteban Ocon, Sebastian Vettel, Charles Leclerc, Carlos Sainz, Charles Leclerc, Antonio Giovinazzi, Kevin Magnussen, Kimi Raikkonen, Nicolas Latifi, Romain Grosjean, and George Russell rounded out the field. Of course, one of the big stories of this session was Alex Albon hitting the barrier. Really not what he needed to do. I'll be probably posting an analysis video on what happened in that incident, maybe later tonight or tomorrow, on what actually happened, but it's really not what he needed to do. Formula 2 returned with their first qualifying session since way back in Sochi, and it can be said Callum Ilott was in fine form throughout the 30 minutes, taking the early advantage and not looking back. He set pole position, and taking a look at the starting grid, this is the wrong grid because it's locating the wrong file. Don't know why it does this sometimes, but I should have it the correct grid, which I do now. It's Callum Ilott who took pole position ahead of Felipe Drugovich in second. Dan Ticktum lines up in third ahead of Marcus Armstrong in fourth. Guan Yu Zhou is fifth ahead of Giuliano Alesi with a career best qualifying, but he had to pull over at the end due to an engine failure. Then you had Nikita Mazepin in 7th, Jehan Daruvala in 8th, Christian Lundgaard in 9th, Mick Schumacher down in 10th, Prima struggling for quali pace, 10th and 14th. Louis Delatrez starts in 11th ahead of Roy Nissany, then Pedro Piquet and Robert Schwartzman. Jack Aitken will start in 15th ahead of Teo Pourchaire, 16th in his first race in the HWA. Marino Sato will start in 17th ahead of Sean Galayle on his return to Formula 2. Ahead of Samaya, Giotto, Markov. Yuki Tsunoda brought out the red flags when he lost it and could not restart the engine. Well, that is it from the Friday recap. Of course, tomorrow we will be reviewing the Formula 1 sessions. The Formula 2 and sessions will be reviewed in the Road to F1 review on Monday. But it seems that Mercedes obviously still have the advantage, but Red Bull are right there. Could be right there. We'll have to see what happens tomorrow. But as I said at the beginning, make sure you leave a like, comment and subscribe to this channel. Follow us on Twitter, RaceWeek_show, and subscribe to this channel for more. And make sure you check out the RaceWeek website, raceweekblog.com, for more content. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow for the Saturday recap. Goodbye.